I can't remember if I actually did a video on this the other day or just like barely mentioned it or whatever. But it was how Citibank is closing off some kind of access for Venezuela, the government, to do transactions like internationally and stuff. And I thought to myself as I was reading this the other day, I thought the United States helps countries that are struggling, right? These poor innocent people, like the refugees in Syria, we got to help them, these poor people. Because the people in Venezuela are actually in a worse case scenario than the people in Syria, because the people in Syria aren't starving to death like they are in Venezuela. And it's not the government that we're dealing with, we're talking about the people. We should be sending in food supplies like there's no tomorrow. Not happening. Instead, we put some kind of sanctions on Venezuela, and then Citigroup says, well, we're going to have to comply with that too, and essentially shut you down. However, it appears that Venezuela had some kind of deal with Citigroup to broker or something or another with $1 billion worth of Venezuela's gold. Remember, when old Chavez was in charge, they paraded around the streets, we got our gold back, we got our gold back. All of a sudden he gets some kind of fast-moving cancer and dies. And this other guy, Maduro, takes over. And naturally, living in a socialist paradise, country is out of control. Civil war practically breaking out. Not necessarily fighting like that, but certainly massive civil unrest like you can't believe. I've been covering these incidences in Venezuela for months now. But it looks like Citigroup just got $1 billion in cold hard gold. Let's take a look at what Zero Hedge says. Just over a year ago, cash-strapped Venezuela quietly conducted a little-noticed gold for cash swap with Citigroup, as part of which Maduro converted part of his nation's gold reserves into at least $1 billion in cash through a swap with Citibank. As Reuters reported then, the deal would make more foreign currency available to President Nicolas Maduro's socialist government as the OPEC nation struggles with soaring consumer prices, chronic shortages, and a shrinking economy worsened by low oil prices. Needless to say, the socialist country's economic situation is orders of magnitude worse now. According to El Nacional, the deal was for $1 billion and was struck with Citibank, which is owned by Citigroup. As Reuters further added, former central bank director Jose Guerra and economist Asdrubal Oliveros of Caracas-based consultancy Ecoanaliticia said in a separate interview, or both of them in separate interviews, that the operation had been carried out. A source at the central bank told Reuters last month it would provide 1.4 million troy ounces of gold in exchange for cash. Venezuela would have to pay interest on the funds, but the bank would most likely be able to maintain the gold as part of its foreign currency reserves, end quote. On paper, yes, very much as any comparable gold leasing operation conducted by sovereign nations with central banks. But the actual physical gold would be transferred to an unknown vault of Citi's choosing, where it would become an asset controlled by the bailed out U.S. bank. We note this peculiar gold swap case because something curious took place overnight. On the same day that Venezuela announced it would seize a local Kimberly-Clark factory after the U.S. consumer products giant announced it would shutter its Venezuelan operations after years of grappling with soaring inflation and a shortage of hard currency and raw materials, Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro said on Monday that Citibank planned to shut his government's foreign currency accounts within a month, denouncing the move by one of its main foreign financial intermediaries as part of a blockade. Among the many reasons why the sudden departure is surprising is that due to strict currency controls in place since 2003, the government relies on Citibank for foreign currency transactions, meaning that suddenly Venezuela's financial blockade is indeed about to get worse. Quote, with no warning, Citibank says that in 30 days it will close the central bank and the Bank of Venezuela's accounts, Maduro said in a speech, adding that the government used the U.S. bank for transactions in the United States and globally. In typical bluster, Maduro added, quote, do you think they're going to stop us with a financial blockade? No, gentlemen. No one stops Venezuela. Except low oil prices, rioting citizens, and now your $1 billion in gold being gone. What Maduro did not mention is that among the central bank accounts closed by Citi will be at least one rather prominent gold swap launched just over a year earlier. Reuters adds that Citibank could not immediately be reached for comment about the purported measure against Venezuela's monetary authority in the Bank of Venezuela, which is the biggest state retail bank. And I would like to add, if I was on that phone conversation with Citibank, these poor people are suffering, Citibank. Don't you want to help them? Don't you want to stop the poor citizens from suffering and starving? Nah. We're going to do a blockade number on them so we can keep this $1 billion in gold. With the OPEC nation's economy immersed in crisis, various foreign companies have been pulling out or reducing operations. However, few of them held over $1 billion in Venezuela gold as hostage. So during his next address, perhaps someone will inquire Maduro if, as part of its blockade, Citi also absconded with a substantial portion of the country's gold reserves. And if so, which other banks have comparable swap arrangements with the insolvent nation? Meanwhile, Hugo Chavez, who spent the last years of his life repatriating Venezuela's gold, is spinning in his grave, surely. What a bloody shame. Again, it's amazing how when we got to go to the Middle East and we got to go to Afghanistan and Iraq and now Syria and all this other crap we keep hearing about, we've got to help the people. They need our help. There's a dictator, yada, yada, yada. The war-torn countries, they need help. They need food. They need first aid. Okay. I find that interesting because I just read the other day that the Red Cross had up to around $1 billion in relief funds it accumulated during the Haiti earthquake a few years back. That was a big one, caused a lot of damage to the housing over there. Not that the housing was very sturdy to begin with, but nonetheless, it crumbled. And they said, we're going to help rebuild Haiti. And I just found out literally a week and a half, that 6 houses have been built to date. In case you didn't hear that right. $1 billion to help rebuild Haiti, housing, etc. Get these people in the place to live. And to date, 6 homes have been built. And then, well, it's not just, it's not really our fault. It's, this is the corrupt government and then, right. And just out of curiosity, Mr. or Mrs. Red Cross, how much money do you normally keep when you get donations that come in? Because I know there's a lot of people who can easily justify an enormous raise for themselves by saying, we are helping the world, we are helping the nations, I'm in charge of this operation over here, I'm a manager, or I'm this, or I'm that. Time for a raise. So I would really like to know, I don't know how trustworthy these statistics might be, but how much money does Red Cross actually donate? It was already partially filled in from Google. Now they say, which I'm going to click on this link because it says The Red Cross CEO, it's the first one, CEO has been serially misleading about where donors' dollars are going from 2014, December 4th. This story was co-produced with NPR. The American Red Cross Regulatory touts how responsible it is with donors' money. We're very proud of the fact that 91 cents of every dollar that's donated goes to our services. Now, I would like to ask, where's your definition of our services? Like, to your people? Is that where it's going? Or to the people you're trying to help? Red Cross CEO Gail McGovern said in a speech in Baltimore last year, that's world class, obviously. McGovern has often repeated that figure, which has also appeared on the charity's website. I'm really proud that overhead expenses are so low, she told a Cleveland audience in June. The problem with that number is, well, it isn't true. After inquiries by ProPublica and NPR, the Red Cross removed the statement from its website. The Red Cross said that the claim was not, quote, as clear as it could have been, and we are clarifying the language, end quote. The Red Cross has declined repeated requests to say the actual percentage of donor dollars going to humanitarian services. But the charity's own financial statements show that overhead expenses are significantly more than what McGovern and other Red Cross officials have claimed. So I want to just quickly, Red Cross, Haiti, 6 houses. Oh, interesting. The first result is redcross.org. And the second result, which was actually published 2 days before that one, was from the one I just talked to you about, ProPublica. So I'm going to go to ProPublica first, see what they say, and then see what their response is. How the Red Cross raised $500 million for Haiti and built 6 homes. Even as the group has publicly celebrated its work, insider accounts detail a string of failures. June 3rd, 2015. The neighborhood of Campeche sprawls up a steep hillside in Haiti's capital city, Port-au-Prince. Goats rustle in trash that goes forever uncollected. Children kick a deflated volleyball in a dusty lot below a wall with a hand-painted logo of the American Red Cross. I guess that's their version of Wilson. Wilson! In 2011, the Red Cross launched a multi-million-dollar project to transform the desperately poor area, which was hit hard by the earthquake that struck Haiti the year before. The main focus of the project, called La Mica, an acronym in Creole for A Better Life in My Neighborhood, was building hundreds of permanent homes. Today, not one home has been built in Campeche. Many residents live in shacks made of rusty sheet metal without access to drinkable water, electricity, or basic sanitation. When it rains, their homes flood, and residents bail out in mud and water. The Red Cross received an outpouring of donations after the quake, nearly $500 million. The group has publicly celebrated its work, but in fact, the Red Cross has repeatedly failed on the ground in Haiti. Confidential memos, emails from worried top officers, and accounts of a dozen frustrated and disappointed insiders show the charity has broken promise, squandered donations, and made dubious claims of success. The Red Cross says it has provided homes to more than 130,000 people, but the actual number of permanent homes the group has built in all of Haiti, just 6. Just 6. In a blistering 2011 memo, the then director of the Haiti program, Judith St. Fort, wrote that the group was failing in Haiti and that senior managers had made very disturbing remarks disparaging Haitian employees. St. Fort, who is a Haitian American, wrote that the comments include, quote, he is the only hard-working one among them, and, quote, the ones that we have hired are not strong, so we probably should not pay close attention to Haitian CVs. The Red Cross won't disclose details of how it spent the hundreds of millions of dollars donated for Haiti, but our reporting shows that less money reached those in need than the Red Cross has said. So let me just stop there. Answering your questions from the Red Cross, the real story of the 6 homes in Haiti, according to the Red Cross. That's their title. This piece was written by David Meltzer, Chief International Officer of the American Red Cross. He has traveled to Haiti more than 20 times, both before and after the earthquake, including in the days after the disaster struck. Our objective in all of our humanitarian work is to alleviate suffering of those in need, particularly those most vulnerable. After the 2010 earthquake hit Haiti, the needs were great, and like other aid groups, we faced difficult choices about where to best spend money as quickly and effectively as possible. Did the American Red Cross only build 6 new permanent homes? Yes. These were part of a pilot project out of Port-au-Prince. As the project progressed, we learned a number of lessons that helped us revise our long-term shelter plans. The solutions we decided on ultimately helped more people than can be served through the construction or new construction efforts and could be implemented faster, helping people living in camps get back into safer homes and conditions sooner. Did we plan to build more new homes? Yes. Plans were for 3 different communities of new homes funded by the American Red Cross were developed, of which 2 were outside Port-au-Prince. In all 3 cases, there were competing claims of land ownership, and clear land title couldn't be established. We also learned that new housing communities built outside Port-au-Prince often remain unoccupied because people strongly preferred to move back into the neighborhood they lived in before the quake, near their jobs, schools, and families. Did we help 132,000 Haitians obtain safe and improved housing? Yes. In the days following the earthquake, the Red Cross provided emergency shelter in the form of 860,000 tarps to people whose homes were damaged or destroyed. Of course, living underneath a tarp or tent is only a short-term solution, so the American Red Cross developed plans to provide medium and long-term housing. So you created plans on paper. Did you follow through with those plans? Well, remember that part? We don't clear land ownership. We couldn't find out who. Okay, well, hold on. If you had a bunch of houses that have been destroyed, aren't you going to clean up that rubble and build right on top of the old ones? I mean, clearly people were living there before. Why couldn't you just build it back up again? Point being, another wannabe good, do-good organization that sounds good on paper, kind of like remember, again, Patriot Act. Oh, it's patriotic. Affordable Care Act, the ACA. Not affordable and horrible. Right, again, great names. The Relief for Haiti, the Red Cross. But we spent a lot more money than we let on, and so much so that our 91% funding goes to services. We need to reword that because maybe it wasn't clear enough. Exactly what I said. Your services are your employees, your global operations. That's where the money's going. Very little ever gets there. If you as a person want to actually help in times like these, avoid like the freaking plague any of these donation companies and find some point of contact in the area where shit has gone down to say, I want to hook you up. Oh, there's a church right over there or something of that nature. Goodwill. Okay, I'll physically send them the money myself. Not use the Red Cross, because all you're doing is making someone's paycheck really nice and then them giving pennies on the dollar to where it really needs to go. So again, point being, United States, we're always here to help. We have organizations like the Red Cross that like to help, but like its big brother government, it's potentially what might be considered fraudulent in a sense. Because again, when you're claiming these big numbers and then when you look at the books and it's terrible, I don't think I'd be boasting about that. But anyway, Citigroup is now sitting on at least $1 billion worth of gold. But when this deal was done a year ago, gold wasn't pushing near $1,400 like it is now. So Maybe Citigroup got a little bonus. Maybe Citigroup got a little bonus because the price of gold went up. Their investment is doing great because they know they're never giving it back to Venezuela. You give us this hard asset called gold, we give you this paper money backed by nothing called toilet paper, or whatever your country's currency is actually called. Take care.